just finished watching the March Madness Selection Sunday, which is personally one of my favorite days in sports. And getting ready for one of my favorite weekends in sports, which is the first and second round. So pretty exciting. I'm here with Jordan. Jordan, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? Really excited for this NCAA tournament. I think, the main question here is can Florida go back to back? But I think obviously Duke, Arizona, Michigan will give them a run for their money. UConn even, Houston. So that this will be fun.
Yeah, should be pretty good. We'll just go and like we literally just watched this on TV. The brackets just released like I don't know, 15 minutes ago or so. So we're just gonna run it region by region, give some thoughts, maybe some trendy upset picks, who's gonna win each region. So yeah, look, we'll just jump right into it. So we'll start with the East region, and I'm just gonna run by the matchups really quick each, and then of course we'll give our thoughts. So Duke is the 1 seed, they play Siena the 16 seed. Ohio State is the 8 seed. They play TCU, the 9 seed. St. John's, the winner of the Big East, they're the 5 seed. They play Northern Iowa, the 12 seed. Kansas is the 4 seed. They'll play Cal Baptist, who is the 13 seed. Louisville is 6. They'll play South Florida, who's the 11 seed. Michigan State is the 3 seed. They're going to play North Dakota State, the 14 seed, the winner of the Summit League. And then UCLA is the 7 seed versus UCF, the 10 seed. UConn is the 2 seed, and they're going to play sort of March Madness legends, at least of a couple years ago. Furman is the 15 seed. So, Jordan, what are your thoughts on the East region?
Just really quick, can I just say shout out to California Baptist? This is their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. So just shout out and congratulations to them. But looking at this, it just has me excited for what could be in the Elite Eight with Duke and UConn. How fun would that game be? For an upset in this region, what I think is a really good chance of happening. Give me South Florida over Louisville. The Cardinals, we don't know what the status is of star freshman Michael Brown Jr. right now. So give me the Bulls over the Cardinals, and then I think honestly, Northern Iowa and St. John's. That'll be an interesting game. Even though I think St. John's is a better team, but we see a 12 seed upset of five. It seems like every year. So that'll be fun there. Just keep an eye on that one. UCF and UCLA, the Bruins have been playing really well. Made it all the way to the Big Ten semis, I believe, before falling to Purdue, the eventual Big Ten champions, who we'll talk about later. And then Ohio State TCU, the 8-9. That's always a toss-up, always a fun game.
Yeah, definitely. I almost like Cal Baptist as this is just a total gut one as like a trendy upset pick. Like Jordan said, this is their first ever time. Kansas is good, but they're a 4 seed. They've had better teams in the past. I sort of like that one a little bit. I don't know, and UCLA, they have gotten hot at the right time. I will give them credit where it's due, but they did start the season a little bit mediocre. UCF, I could potentially like seeing them as a as a 10-7 upset maybe right there. And then TCU Ohio State, that doesn't really count, but that should be a really good 8 and 9 game. And yeah, I don't know. North Dakota State is a really good team at 14, but they're going to play a really tough Michigan State team. I think just there's too much. I think there'd be too much of a talent difference there. But the Bison play really well, and I think with 27 wins, they definitely can't be overlooked. But Jordan, who do you think might come out of the East, if you had to say?
Um, I would probably go with UConn, honestly. I know a lot of people like Duke to come out of that region first glance. Duke, who I would think is the best team in the country, but they're without two of their starters, Caleb Foster and Patrick Gungba. Caleb Foster, I believe, would be out until the Final Four if Duke gets there. Patrick Gungba should be back for probably the second round. I don't think they really need him in the first round. So I like UConn to come out of the East region. Evan, what do you think?
I still think Duke is too deep. They've had such a good season. UConn scared me a couple times this year. I mean, they're a good pick, don't get me wrong, but I feel like UConn has scared me a couple more times than they have in the last couple of years. I think I'm gonna have to go either Duke or Michigan State. I think Michigan State, yes, they're not super high. They're a 3 seed. But they play in the Big Ten, and what do I always say on this podcast? The Big Ten is an absolute wheelhouse. It's a gauntlet. So a 3 seed and the Big Ten is almost like a 1 seed in some other conferences. So if I had to pick, I am gonna pick Duke, but I would watch out for Michigan State if I had to pick. But all right, so we'll go to the next region. This one is going to be the West region, headlined by Arizona, who is the 1 seed. They're going to play Long Island, who is the 16 seed. Then you've got the 8 and 9 matchup. Villanova's the 8 seed. Utah State, potential trendy pick I've heard a lot about, is the 9 seed. Wisconsin is the 5 seed. Shout out Badgers. Versus High Point, the 12 seed. Pretty high for High Point. Arkansas is going to the SEC champions. That's pretty high for them. They're the 4 seed. They're going to play Hawaii, who's the 13th seed. BYU is the 6 seed, and it doesn't have up who the playing game is. Do you know who the playing for that one is, Jordan? In the West?
The 11 seed there would be between Texas and NC State.
Okay, Texas and NC State to potentially play BYU. And then the 3 seed, you have Gonzaga. They're going to play Kennesaw State, the winner of Conference USA. And then coming up, shout out Jake. Miami, Florida is the 7 seed. They're going to play Missouri, the 10 seed. And then Purdue, the 2 seed, is going to play Queens out of North Carolina, the 15 seed. So, initial thoughts on the West, Jordan.
First, I just want to shout out Kennesaw State. Of course, I live in the state of Georgia, and we have another Georgia team to talk about later on. But just shout out to Kennesaw State making the NCAA tournament. So great job, Owls. Just I don't really know Arizona is probably the overwhelming favorite to come out of this region. I would keep my eye on Utah State. I mean, Wisconsin's really good. Arkansas, Darius Acuff Jr., BYU, AJ DeBonza. So, I mean, we have good teams here. Wisconsin, Arizona, BYU, Gonzaga, Purdue. We have really good teams. I mean, obviously Purdue just won the Big Ten, taking down Michigan, who is another number 1 seed. So yeah, that's this region. I think could be the most interesting, but I'm gonna go with this region as most interesting.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting region. Purdue I've been a Purdue hater sort of all year long, but I mean, you've got to give them credit where it's due to win the Big Ten. Arizona has been really good all year long. Obviously, they didn't quite win the Big 12, but just an amazing season, of course. Or wait, no, they did. Did they win the Big 12? I might be misremembering. Okay,
They
they
did.
so Arizona did win the Big 12, but amazing season from them. Um, Utah State, that's going to be a trendy pick for them to maybe take down Arizona. I don't see it, but a lot of people are talking them up. High Point, that's going to be a 5-12 to watch if they can beat Wisconsin. But I feel like Wisconsin's been solid all year, so I'd be surprised if High Point did win that. But watch out for that. I would, if I had to pick one to watch out for, this may be surprising because Arkansas just won the SEC. I would watch out for Hawaii. I think being ranked 13. They obviously not facing a ton of great competition throughout the year, but they get ranked that high for a reason. I would watch that one. We'll see. Arkansas's played a lot of games. So yeah, I would have to say that. And then as for who's going to come out of that region, I don't know. Is Purdue going to play like they played in the Big Ten, or are they going to play like they played most of the year? I still have some question marks about them. Uh, Man, maybe the safe pick, honestly, to me is Gonzaga. Just because of experience, and Arizona just can't seem to get past the Sweet 16. But maybe this will be their year. But I'm going to pick Gonzaga to come out of this region for the moment.
So this might be a really weird pick. Um, but give me Arkansas to win this region. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like John Calipari, Hall of Fame coach, is just going to find a way to get his team to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could after the stretch that they've just went on. So not crazy by any means. So next we've got the Midwest region. That's headlined by Michigan. They're the number 1 seed. And do you know who the plan for that one is? Versus Michigan?
The winner of UMBC versus Howard.
UMBC, another March Madness legend, of course, and then Howard, a historically black college. So we'll see how that one goes. And next up, you've got the eighth seed, of course. Jordan can attest to this one. They've got Georgia versus St. Louis. Should be pretty good. I know Jordan was talking up St. Louis, probably not so much anymore, but yeah, should be
No, I
interesting.
don't. No, I still think that I would still talk up St. Louis.
No, I know, but you're probably not going to pick them to win win versus Georgia. But
I mean, I don't know. I really don't.
yeah, it'd be tough
I
to
really
see.
don't know.
It'd be tough to. I mean, it is an 8 and 9 though, and 8 and 9s are always exciting. But next up, you've got Texas Tech. They're the 5 seed. They're gonna play Akron, who is the 12 seed, surprisingly winning the MAC instead of Miami of Ohio. Alabama is the 4 seed in this region. They're gonna play Hofstra, who is the 13 seed. Tennessee is the 6 seed, and do you know the plan for that one, Jordan?
The winner of Miami, Ohio, and SMU.
All right, so that will be the 6 and 11 matchup. And then you have Virginia, the 3 seed, versus Wright State, the 14 seed. Kentucky, the 7 seed, is going to play Santa Clara, the 10 seed. We've talked a little bit about them. They did make the tournament, and they're in a pretty good spot, too. And then Iowa State is the 2 seed. They're going to play Tennessee State, the 15 seed. So, Jordan, what are your big takeaways on the Midwest region?
First, I just want to shout out Santa Clara. They made the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1996. So shout out to them. I feel like a really trendy pick. I'm going to have both the 3 seeds and 5 seeds go down in this region. I have Wright State beating Virginia, and I'm going to pick Akron to beat Texas Tech. Um, and then, of course, the 8-9, the whole Georgia St. Louis dynamic. I do, I, I would still talk up St. Louis. Of course, I'm going to be rooting for Georgia. Georgia famously has not won an NCAA tournament game in 24 years. Um, so that's, um, so that's a big talking point there. Michigan, of course, number 1 seed, number 3 team in the country. I would guess they would be that in the AP poll. Alabama is really interesting to me because they can shoot the three ball with about any team in the country. They can score with any team in the country. When Georgia played them at the beginning of the month, they scored 88 points. Um, so that's really interesting to me. Kentucky, I just never know what I'm going to get from them. I think Iowa State has a really good chance to come out of this region. Shout out Miami of Ohio. I know a lot of people question whether they'd get in over say Auburn. Just shout out to the Red Hawks though for getting in 31-1, amazing season. Unfortunately, did not win the MAC and did not make it certain they would get in, but they got in as an at-large. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, I feel like if Miami of Ohio does win and they face Tennessee, that's going to be like that whole stadium. I don't know where this game is being played, but that whole stadium is going to be rooting for Miami of Ohio. Like it's going to be a crazy, at least if you're a neutral, of course, it's going to be a crazy environment. So I would maybe watch that one again. You know me, I've been sort of iffy on Miami of Ohio, and then they did lose to UMass, and that was a bad loss, but I've been iffy on them the whole time, but 31 wins is 31 wins, so you don't want to face that come tournament time. So that might be tough with Tennessee. Um, Santa Clara, I almost want to go ahead and pick them right now. Well, again, all this stuff is just initial reaction for me. I'm probably going to change up my bracket a lot, but initial reaction, I like that one. If Kentucky plays like the last couple of seasons they've been in the tournament, I think Santa Clara rolls on them. But maybe Kentucky's finally rebounding. Maybe they're finally gonna do something in the tournament because I have not been impressed with them of late. And then I don't know why this is just a vibes one, but I don't Hofstra maybe over Alabama. We'll see, but should get pretty interesting. And as for who I have coming out, I thought Michigan has been pretty dominant. I don't really care about today's result that much. They did lose, but nobody's going to go undefeated in the Big Ten. That's just not how it works. Iowa State's solid, but can they play really good defense? Can they keep scoring? We'll see. I'm a little more optimistic on Virginia than it seems like Jordan is. So in this region, if I had to pick, I Michigan, I guess, is the boring pick. And I already have picked a 3 seed, so if I don't know who to pick, I'm gonna go with the boring pick. I'm gonna say Michigan comes out of the Midwest. What do you think, Jordan?
All right, I can answer this 2 ways. Do you want me to give you the fun pick, or do you want me to give you my real pick? Which
Fun
one?
pick, fun pick first, or if you only want one, then fun pick. Yep,
Fun pick. Go Dogs. Final four. Let's go.
let's go. Come on.
But really. looking at this, there are, a few SEC teams in this bracket. I'm going to try not to be SEC biased, but I really do believe Alabama can come out of this region. Like I said, they can score with any team in the country. Yes, even Georgia, who is having a historically great season offensively. But I mean, Alabama, I like the way they can shoot the three ball. LeBaron Philon is amazing. Right, so I believe I forgot his first name. I apologize. Um, Nate Oates, a great coach. Alabama, I believe, made the Elite Eight last year, so they have the experience. Give me the Crimson Tide to advance to the Final Four.
All right, we will see how that works. Interesting that Jordan is predicting that, but game respect game. But all right, so we'll go to the South region. This is our final one to go over. Florida is the one seed, and I think you know what I'm going to ask Jordan one more time. What is the plan for that one?
The winner of Lehigh, who back in I believe it was 2012, Lehigh took out Duke in the NCAA tournament. The winner between Lehigh and Prairie View A&M.
All right, so they will move on to face Florida, the winner of that game. Next up, the 8 and 9 seed is Clemson is the 8, Iowa is the 9. Vanderbilt, the 5 seed, is going to play McNeese, the 12 seed, sort of famous from last year. Had some hype. One moved on to the second round at least. Nebraska is the 4 seed. They're going to face Troy, the 13 seed. North Carolina, the Tar Heels, they're the 6 seed. They're going to play VCU, the 11 seed. Illinois is the 3 seed. They're going to play Penn, coming from the Ivy League. The 14 seed, St. Mary's, the 7 seed from the West Coast Conference. They're going to play Texas A&M, the 10 seed. And Houston, the 2 seed, is going to play Idaho. Shout out to the Vandals. They're the 15 seed. So, Jordan, what are your thoughts on the Southern region?
Well, first, I would like to start out with a question for Evan.
Yeah,
Do you know how many games Nebraska has ever won in the NCAA tournament?
I'm gonna guess pretty low, but no, I have no clue. How much? Yeah.
Nebraska has never won a game in the NCAA tournament.
Wow, that's
You
crazy.
can believe that or not. I think it's obvious what the first initial thought is here. Can Florida repeat as national champions? The answer to me is yes, they can. Do I think they will? I'll give you, those thoughts later. I think McNeese over Vanderbilt is a really trendy pick in this region. I think Evan can, attest to that 12 over 5. I mean, Clemson, Iowa, I don't think that really be an upset. I mean, it's 8-9. Um, Look out for VCU over North Carolina. That one could be interesting. A&M over St. Mary's could be interesting. Those are my, upset picks. Houston, Houston and Florida could meet in the Elite Eight, and that would be a rematch of the national championship game from last year. So that would be really fun. And I believe this is in the South region. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
And I think the South region games, like the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight, are played in the city of Houston. As that would be interesting. But yeah, so Nebraska just jumps out at me as never winning an NCAA tournament game ever. Will they do it? Like Evan mentioned, they play Troy out of the Sun Belt. Um, will Nebraska do it?
We'll see if they do it. I almost want to say so. Jordan just dropped that statistic that Nebraska has never won an NCAA tournament game. I almost want to say maybe Troy's a trendy upset pick there. I don't think the Sun Belt's that great of a basketball conference, but Nebraska started super hot to start the season. If people remember, they were easily in the top 10, in the rankings, like back in January. But it's just, again, they haven't like down spiraled. They're still the 4 seed, but they have fallen a little bit. So that could be trendy. VCU, I do agree with Jordan. That's a trendy one, 11-6 over North Carolina. But VCU played like dog crap today, even though that they won. Like I watched that game, they really did not impress me that much. So they'll have to play better. But I will still say they're a good team. That will be pretty trendy. McNeese, I don't know. We'll see. Vanderbilt has played really good all year, so that will be another trendy upset pick. But I don't know if I'm going to take that one in particular. But and then as for who I have coming out of this region, excuse me, as for who I have coming out of the region, common theory is that, you know, usually I always heard there's at least two one seeds, and that doesn't always happen, but a lot of years that does happen. There's at least two one seeds. So I've already picked my two one seeds. So let's have fun a little bit. Let's go with Illinois. I have Illinois making it out of the South region. So we'll see what Jordan has to say.
Um, I don't think this one is really hard for me. I mean, I'm not going to say this in the term of I like the Gators, like I'm a Gators fan or anything. I think you guys know I'm a Georgia fan, so like I hate the Gators. But I mean, I like them this season. But give me Houston to come out of this region. I just think that Kelvin Sampson, the Cougars are on a mission to get back to the Final Four and national title game, finish the job this time. So give me the Cougars to advance to the Final Four, which I believe is being played in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Okay, pretty exciting stuff. So we're looking forward to it. I'm probably going to change my bracket from a lot of stuff I've said here, but this is my initial takeaways. These are still my initial takeaways. So maybe vibes are the best picks. Maybe we should come back and watch this video and see, how our initial takeaways fared. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Oklahoma City is going to host some games, which I'm still down here for another 2 or so weeks. So I don't think I can make the first round, but the second round. I'm going to try to get to, especially if say Texas A&M and Houston both win. I bet those fan bases are going to be here. Texas is not too far away, so should be pretty interesting. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so just really quick in the Final Four, I have UConn. I went with Arkansas, Alabama, and Houston. So actually, I don't have a one seed in the Final Four, which I guess could be shocking, but I mean it's March Madness, so is it really shocking?
Some
And
years that
then
will
just
happen. Like look at like you remember 2023. Like you had FAU, Miami, like just a crazy San Diego State. Like that was a crazy year. So you never know. Yeah.
no, but just really quick, who is your national champion?
Oh, okay. So again, this one will for sure change, but that I'll base it off of my final four, which I believe I had Gonzaga, Illinois, and then I had the two other one seeds. I had Michigan and
You
Duke.
had
So,
Duke and Michigan.
yep. Oh geez. So if I had to pick off of that, I I'm gonna go Michigan. I will go Michigan if I had to pick off of that. But what about you, Jordan? Georgia? No.
Um,
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Houston to get the job done. Kelvin Sampson, I believe, has been there too many times. They got star freshman Kingston Fleming's down there. The Cougars, I believe, are on a mission after coming so close last year in that national championship. I believe they get the job done this time.